What is up, everybody? And by everybody, I mean hopes and dreams, because there is nobody who follows this account yet. Keyword there is yet. Uh, and I may lose some subscribers after this horrendous week we had in the market. But that's kind of the whole point of this channel, is to, learn and grow as a trader. And while I may not be profitable yet, I will be profitable soon. And by soon, I don't know really how long. And if, certainly if we continue making mistakes and having stats like this, it won't be for a while. So let's first off, I just want to say, like, this is going to be the premise of my weekly recap videos. This is kind of going to be the whole idea. We're going to go over, I'm going to have this type of, format on the screen. It'll be different between, every week, but this is going to be the main idea here of kind of what I talk about at the end of each week and what I want to see going into the next week, just so we can get, because this is my journal. This is kind of what I use to journal and kind of track how my progress is, and and see where I'm at. So enough yap. Let's get into exactly what happened this week. So the amount of trades I took, as you can see here, is 5. I took 5 trades this week in 4 days. So I took 2 trades on Tuesday, a win and a loss, or a loss and then a win. And then on Wednesday, I took a break even. And then Thursday, I took a win. And then Friday, I took a loss. So 5 trades. Frequency, just going to say it, is too high. It's too many. And the only reason I took 2 trades in one day is because it was on 2 different accounts. So I FOMO'd in, lost, and then switched to a different account, and then took a better setup, which still wasn't a great setup. So let's talk about this. So like I said, I was talking about good setups anyway. I had one good trade this week where I followed my rules, used good discretion, and got a good fill with a decently protected stop. That was one trade this week. That was a good trade. And like I said, 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 break even. So let's kind of talk about my issues. So we're going to move over here, and like, this won't be a super long video. This is just going to be breaking down what I did and how we can get better. So the biggest issues I had this week were top and bottom blasting, which, if you don't know what that means so basically, like, let's say we're displacing to a draw on liquidity, and let's say we get a shallow retrace, and then we displace and take off towards the draw. That would mean I would enter there without any type of internal high to go break even at. So, like, there's no price, like, close left, with an internal high above for me to go break even at before reaching the high. So it's like, essentially, I'm entering at a point where we could easily retrace and stop me out, instead of waiting on the full retrace and then displacement, so that I have a point higher, so I can go break even at before my TP. And so that goes both ways, top and bottom. So this week was a bad week for that. I had 2 trades where one trade where I top blasted and one trade where I bottom blasted. And you can't have that. I can't be doing that. That's not safe. It's not probable. It's taking away all the probability out of my strategy, essentially. And the next thing here is unprotected stop loss. There was a couple times where I took trades and my stop loss, I didn't have it completely at a swing low or a swing high, because it wouldn't have given me the right RR. And so, that's not probable, and you can't do that. Your stop loss, my stop loss, has to be at a point where price is going to be, like, a bullish or bearish move is going to be invalidated at my stop loss. So if my stop loss isn't protected, we could stop me out and continue higher or lower and continue to my draw. So I need to put my stop loss at a protected spot every single time, so that, once price stops me out, if it does, then the move is invalidated, and that draw wasn't correct. But if it's not protected, then that draw could be correct, and I still get stopped out. It's just riskier, and like I said, it takes away from the probability of my setup playing out. It takes away from my strategy win percent. Oh, and by the way, if you can tell, I have a slight cold and a cough, so bear with me. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is golly, entry at rejection points. So this was another big issue. I did this twice. It's basically where you have a strong draw, and price takes that draw and rejects, and then so it's like that point is a good rejection point, because you know how you can sweep liquidity and dump, or sweep liquidity and then shoot. So essentially, I had a problem this week of, like, let's for instance, one day we swept London lows and kind of rejected off of it with the 5-minute wick, and I entered towards Asia lows, which was right below London lows. So it's like I entered at that rejection point of London lows when we hadn't clearly confirmed that we were going to move through those lows. And it's like, that's stupid. Obviously, you can't do that. You can't enter at points where price is likely to reject and stop you out. So you want to wait on clear confirmation through those draws before entering to the next draw. And I did that twice, where I entered a trade at a rejection point without confirming that we were going to move through that rejection point. And inevitably, I got stopped out. And that's why. And that's kind of, it's good to know that. It's good to know so that we can move on from that mistake. So that basically brings me into why I took, why this happened, why the bad trades happened. I tried to, I said I was sitting here, filling this out so we could go over it. And I ultimately couldn't really come up with anything other than FOMO, and I was P&L driven. Those are the two cut and dry things that caused this, and caused, only having one good trade on the week. So I can talk about that a little bit. As for those top and bottom blasts, I had FOMO. And I had FOMO because I was P&L driven. I wanted to see green. I wanted to make money. I wanted to get closer to payout. And so I took stupid trades. There's really not much more talking about that needs to be done. That is why I had as much issues as I had this week. Another thing, these videos are going to be like super transparent, raw, uncut. Like, I don't care if you think I'm a good trader or if you don't. That's not my goal. My goal is to grow as a trader, and everybody starts somewhere. So if you want to watch this, you want to judge it, and you want to say, hey, you're a bad trader, that's fine with me. I do not care. That's not the goal of this video. That's not the goal of this channel. The goal of this channel is to realize that I'm not a great trader in most aspects, and grow from it and become a great trader. I know that that's what it takes, and so that's kind of what this is. So yeah, after, since we've talked kind of about all of the issues that I had this week, and if you want to see the trades that I took this week and you're curious, you can go back and look. I have them all timestamped on my channel, so I have all the videos posted and timestamped, and date, like you can see the day in the title. So if you want to go back and look at my trades this week, you can do that. Anyway, next week's goals. So for next week, I obviously want to enter with zero FOMO. Like, I don't want to ever enter a trade this coming week, with FOMO. I don't want to have a FOMO entry once this coming week. And being process driven kind of falls along in that category. I want to focus not on P&L, but on the process of doing what I know I have to do, taking the trades I know that are probable, staying out of the days that aren't, which leads me to patience. I need to be patient. I need to be calm. I need to be aware. I need to remember this video, remember these issues, remember the trades I took last week, and execute with that in mind. which is going to require a lot of patience. And the last thing is I needed to be able to distinguish the bad and good trading days, and that comes down to if you're not worried, if I'm not worried about my P&L, then I won't worry about staying out on a day that it's improbable. You know and that's and these are my main goals for this week. I want to not enter with FOMO this week. I want to be able to next week's recap video. I want to be able to be proud of myself and us be going over whether it's more wins or whatever. It's obvious I need to be proud of the trades I took and not only have one good trade out of 5. So those are my goals. And I didn't put on here. I need to lower my frequency, so we'll put that on here real quick. We'll say lower. Yeah, lower trade frequency. So these are the main goals I have for next week. Yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video. This is my weekly recap. We're gonna be doing one of these every single week during the whole year of 2026. So hopefully you guys can take something from this. Hopefully you guys can learn with me, and hopefully you guys can improve your trading. We can do this together. So if you want to watch this, and if you don't want to take any of my, I'm not really giving out advice yet or now, because there's not really reason to take my advice. But if you learn anything from these videos, stick around, subscribe, like the videos. It'll help the channel grow and reach new people that can, get something from this. And that's kind of my ultimate goal. Learn how to trade and attract followers and friends and hopefully people, a community that we can all, grow together. So yeah, without yapping too much more, that's going to be the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for a trade recap. So adios.